Hey, 30 to your face, 90 to your face. That's a close case. Episode 21. I missed the 60 because we don't mess with that number. It's time for another FNTASIA episode with 112K and Balla TW. Intros are kind of spicy today. Let's go.
We're back. We back. You've been like hard in the I don't know. You just like straight to business type Shio beat. You know, Shio type beat. And
Yeah.
and we've been missing the like random. Let's go on a journey to the desert. And inside of the desert, there's a place with a shiny lamp. You rub the lamp, and out comes episode 20. Like,
Damn. This guy took away my episode 22 intro. There's no way. It's not fair. Yeah, man, because we usually have like, I don't know what it is. Like, it feels like we're diving deep into cold water. I don't know what happened after episode 13, but I swear, episode 12 we had like a 17-minute counter.
it's because, bro, the world of Fortnite is it's like Australia. Okay, when it's summertime, it's actually just wintertime for like any sort of competitive. Like you usually have mechs, you usually have like all this stuff and blah blah blah. So yeah, usually it is cold waters. Usually it's icy around here and frigid. You're just trying to hang on and survive.
Oh, frigid and fridge, and the fridge is cold too. That's crazy. I just realized where there's a fridge comes from. The fridges are cold, and you're frigid when you're cold.
That is where fridge comes from.
Bars.
This is gonna be a long episode.
I'm all for this. I am very much all for this. By the way, looking very dapper. I like the shirt. You should pull that one out more often. A little bit more chest hair, and we'll be vibing.
Yeah, fuck Lemon, I guess.
11, you're wearing a fucking white tee, bro. Like,
yeah, but tell me I look nice or something.
Yo, you did. You have looked nice, but you have looked nice recently with the fucking with the United Man. Like, bro, okay, I've never seen you clean up as much as you did for the United whatever fan club. Like, you on there and you're like, you actually like smiling. I've never seen you happier, bro.
I'm done, man. I can't be asked, man. You know what? Yeah. You're funny because I shaved my beard the day before I got the job for that. So all my friends were like, "Rah, you shaved for it and everything." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I just happened to have shaved the day before. It's such a coincidence." But
what's the matter with shaving for a thing that you're excited about?
I've never shaved my beard ever.
What?
Really?
Never shaved my beard. No.
That's all you grew in 30 years? What the fuck?
I'm actually not even sure if he's coming back, man. It's been a long day for the little lad. Like, I'm actually not even sure.
Yeah, you guys just wrapped up what? High tier? Yeah.
Yeah, man, high tier, high octane, big action.
Mm-hmm.
It's cracked.
I understand. He's probably gonna go to sleep now.
Yeah, straight up. We could get started. Oh, there he is. Watch your knees, bro.
Let's do it. Fortnite. Let's talk about Fortnite.
Yeah, speaking of high tier, we're literally in the middle of the invitational right now. 3 competitions down in 2 days. Doubled up on the first day with 2. And honestly, I was expecting like, you know, mini games in a story mode based game, like the casino, the gimmicky stuff where you get a plushie at the end, I don't know, the hungry hippos type beat. But it was actually kind of nice. It was actually kind of real. Yeah, there were some moments that were a little bit more low, but overall, man, the invitational was a lot more fun than expected.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think, you know, I do still have in the back of my mind the whole idea of if only this was like LAN and like, you know, we had the crowd watching, everyone's having a nice time. You can, you know, see all the players chilling and everything, but you know, even without that, it was really exciting. Do you know what I mean? It's really exciting. It's nice that we have found a place for this kind of thing in the game. You know what I mean? And you know, I hope things continue to be improved. I hope like, you know, we don't see. I hope the response is like this is a success. People enjoy it, and it's just like there's no like innovation and continuous like improvement. But I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah,
I'm actually really scared. Because I think there needs to be drastic changes, and it's from what Levin said, which is like because it's successful, it'll stay like this. Like three map makers came together, and they brainstormed all these ideas, and they're good ideas, right? But at the core of it, like when it comes to an aim battle, there's ways to actually pit people against each other so they're shooting each other, right? I was talking with Levin about this, but like if you had it so where it was like, you know, the one big thing right now is what I forget what the mode is called, but when you're head to head with someone else and you're in the same box shooting each other, and like, you know, both people have an SMG or whatever it is, you can utilize that. Aim duels, yeah. You can have aim duels in Bullseye Bonanza where like after a certain amount of time you switch floors and there's a different gun, and you know the floor breaks beneath you, and now you're fighting in shotguns.
It should literally just be a tower, and each tower is a different weapon. So it's like shotgun, like tax, then you know P90s, then you know AR. Like it should literally be like that.
You guys want to watch that? Like what?
I would rather watch.
I'd rather watch
like,
that than Bullseye
Noahreyli
Bonanza than was.
Yeah, like compared to like the Bullseye Bonanza, you'd rather watch a Bullseye Bonanza than watch Noahreyli versus Savage in an aim competition.
And we're talking about like literally, basically the aim training thing that they do, where you jump in a box and you're. That's what you're talking about. Hell no, I would not want to watch that. That is. Have you watched tournaments? No, hold up. Have you guys watched tournaments of those? Like with the like aim trainer people, like VF has run tournaments like that and other stuff. It is god awfully boring. Like.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you spice it up by like, you know, every 5 seconds the gun changes or some shit like that.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'd be excited. I honestly think I'd rather watch Bullseye Bonanza than that.
True.
Bullseye Bonanza map is just, it's just like, I've enjoyed all of them. So that's not me saying like, Bullseye Bonanza is like god awful, but like, especially after coming off of the Blueprint Battle, the edit course, like Bullseye Bonanza just wasn't, you know, outside, because like, it was good for me on EU because of like the actual like people in the matchup we had, like having MONGRAAL versus Mitra, like that was cool. But like, if you just had player A, player B, it just wouldn't have been as entertaining. Whereas even with the edit course map, like that's just watching that itself just feels much more entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Blueprint. I mean the aim thing, Bullseye Bonanza was definitely like the most. Well, actually, high tier was more boring to me. I actually had a lot of fun watching NA East Bullseye Bonanza. I don't know why. Maybe it was because Macwood was like trolling and people were talking on Twitter and stuff, and I was building my PC last night.
I think that's more of the talk.
Yeah. Which is what these sort of events have to, like, you have to have personality in these types of things, or it's just gonna be so boring. I definitely, like, by the time I got to NA West, I was still building my computer, not really watching. It was one of the first events in Fortnite that I actually was just like tuned in and like knew what was coming up next. Like I was following the entire time. I like understood, mostly because it's a very basic format. But that, you know, a lot of credit to how easy it is. Bullseye Bonanza, maybe not the best out of them. High tier, probably not as well. I mean, probably be way cooler just to have a 1v1 zone wars or something like that, or some sort of. The thing is that it's hard to do a skills challenge more than anything else, because a 1v1 zone wars, I don't think that would be considered a skills challenge, like a dunk contest or a 3-point contest.
Yeah,
like the Blueprint battle definitely was. I personally think that the high tier was too easy.
Yeah, I did feel that way. I feel like, I really feel like they could like add more things like continually that you have to do. Like the fact that like it's like your stage, then you're done. Your stage, you're done. Like if they like change certain things together, like after you come out of the tunnel, you have to 90 up 3 high, and then like you go through another bit, and there's like, do you know what I mean? Like if they change certain things together, like that would be much better. Do you know what I mean? But I definitely agree. It did feel too easy.
The punishing is important too, because it felt like the only time that there would be like a significant like lead change or anything was when somebody died. And when somebody died, the game was over. Like,
if you die, it's over, literally.
And the mistakes that people were making to die, in my mind, like, yeah, they were mistakes. And probably pro players shouldn't be having those mistakes. But that's the risk, right? You try to go really, really fast, you end up making more mistakes. I think I'd prefer it if, like, you were docked time or something like that for mistakes, rather than just like straight up dying and having to reset, or like a faster reset. Because this felt like I was playing a racing game and your car crashes, and when your car crashes, it like blows up and it takes like 15 seconds to get back on the course. Like that's what it felt
Yeah.
like, and it was really, really hard to follow, or hard to care about at all.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like for the blueprint battle, like it was nice because every mistake you made cost you like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
seconds that you basically dictate. And at max, it was about 1. And yeah, they could compound, add on, and then you saw the mass differences and the differences in speed. Whereas like over here, you could make a smaller mistake than you'd make in blueprint, and it would cost you 10 seconds. And a lot of the catch-up mechanics too on the other side, like people were never really forced to make mistakes. The worst part about high tier was that wall floor ramp buildup.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
There.
That was like
That's
so
just to get to the
lag.
waterfall. Make it more 90s. Make 90s in a specific box, and if you mess that up, you have to, do that little side part again, because staying in form and not having an excess amount of builds is a skill.
What
right?
about like some piece control stuff where you have to navigate through like old builds and stuff, and you can't edit them? I don't know. Just like this felt like high tier felt like building from the 90s. Like it felt like, oh, let me hold on. High tier felt like building from season X. Like that's how far we were.
Yeah.
This guy and this season X takes again. You know what? Yeah, I do. I feel you, because it definitely wasn't like it just. It's not like even if like you look at like the NBA skill games, like that thing, because that's what I thought this would be like. I thought this one would be the one that's closest to that. But even with that, it's like you can mess up hard on one stage, but like it's not like the catch-up mechanics are still dependent on your opponent like also being able to mess up on different stages, where it's just like there's nothing really, like if you're not getting killed, there's nothing really to mess up on to the point where you're going to be able to catch up if you're the other person who has like fallen behind. And it's just like it just made it literally like the end. Soon as Janice dies at the end, like
yeah, it was done. But like the easiest way I feel like to fix this would be like actually having a full course now where you build and you edit. Like the piece control courses, you have to box the whole thing, shoot the person.
Yep.
It could literally be this, but you have to kill each bot as you move forward. And if you skip, it is what it is. You can't fall down and lose 10 seconds. Like that would be nice. At the end, like based off tiebreakers or whatever, your shield amount gonna count for something. Like there could be many different ways. But it's a straight up building course. There's just not enough complexity in it. There's not enough layers.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't work.
Well, both the other courses had the same problems too. I don't think you can make a like independent skills challenge. I feel like all 3 of these things need to be combined, and then it would be like fucking lit. Because those are the funnest edit courses. Like those are the funnest warm up courses. Are the
like
things that combine everything. Yeah, no. Like, have you seen the ones where you like sliding down a ramp and like not in this game, but yeah, actually you're falling, you have to hit the targets as you're falling, and then you go through this edit portion, you have to do like tunneling, like it's literally all of the skills combined. I feel like that is the most place where you can have the flashiest stuff happen and actually have it be remembered rather than just be like a random competition that, okay, Noahreyli won. But we like the only thing that we know about what he did was his time. And like you think of other skills challenges, you remember like Steve Nash, like hitting literally everything on the first try and then hitting the half court shot like first time, or fucking around backwards or whatever.
Dunking from the free throw line.
That's what I was about to say. It's like there's no like the whole aspect of knowing the map, like the fact that there's like weird tech as well that you can do
That's
to actually like
sick.
gain advantage. But at the same time, like that is just, it shows how it's very different in the sense of like it's not like tech you can do for the 3-point contest. You just go and you hit your shots. It doesn't directly translate to the skills like in game. It's like the person who wins the aim thingy-majig doesn't like necessarily have their aim, the best aim. Whereas it does translate, even though it doesn't fully translate either in like the NBA or some shit, but it is still like more telling in terms of like on that day, that guy was the one that was shooting the best.
Yeah.
For this, for the aim, for the bullseye bonanza, I don't even think that's reflective of like on that day, that guy's aiming the best. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's like, the case in everything. I think the level of competition is always going to be like whatever. It's just on the day. But what was I going to say? I think the biggest detractant for me is literally what we said the last episode. Because honestly, this shit was lit. Like let's take a step back. This was all fucking awesome. Like this was really, really cool. I think the biggest detractment for me was that even just in one region, bro, it was just so much of the same thing over and over and over and over. I lost interest at the very beginning. I gained interest at the end, which, okay, that's fine, probably. But then it happened in another region. Then it happened in another region. The casters are getting bored of the same thing over and over and over again. Like I can hear it. Ozzy's referencing OCE like 15,000 times because he's not only did he do like his hype stream where he did his own tournament, and then he watched OCE, and then so like, yeah, it's just not. I think it was a good testing ground, but the fact that you have to do it over and over, it's very boring. And the bracket, while it seems cool and it's really easy to follow, is probably like everybody's racing. Why are we going head to head? Why not just do heats and then eventually get down to 2 people? That'd be lit.
Especially where it's like in high tier. Janice had the fastest time on the day 3 times. Like he literally set the fastest time 3 times. The top 3 fastest times are literally all Janice, but it's like he doesn't get anything for that.
Let's actually look at like some of these results. And
while you pull them up, I think an easy way to like address the fact that they were so repetitive. I think the decision was also, or the decision of having 4 days for it was one of them.
Yeah.
Like if you take the idea of having wider heats and have all the players included, and then have a grand finals that comes up faster, you could literally end this entire thing in 2 days. Right?
Yeah.
3 days max.
Yep.
But honestly, 2 days, if you tried hard enough, if you literally had 2 heats into grands for 1 skill challenge, bullseye bonanza, the same thing. You have 8 towers, you know what I mean? And then it goes to a final 1v1 or whatever. Like, and then that way you're not seeing as much of it. Every region is not going to be as exhaustive, right? You're only getting a sneak peek of it. Because the trickiest part about this in Fortnite, at least, is that you're trying to do something that's very, very exclusive, but it's the most inclusive type of game, right? And you want to cover 7 regions. Like, it's definitely going to have a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but you know, it's not going to be as authentic or as easy to watch for the mode.
Yes,
it's a very, very
oversaturated.
exclusive mode. Yeah, it's oversaturated. That's exactly what it is. So I feel like, honestly, if we had the same modes and they were just over 2 days and one day was all the modes and the next day was a solos competition, it'd be absolutely fun.
Yeah. Brings up the question of like, obviously they want to try a bunch of stuff, so like they put in stuff that probably isn't gonna work, like this 3v3 mode that's happening tomorrow. I don't believe that that's going to be interesting at all, but maybe it could. Who knows? Like all that stuff they're trying, and they did stuff at World Cup, and like iteration is kind of happening, but it's also like such drastic iteration that like and it's never happened again, you know, where the iteration has led to somewhere where everybody's like, yeah, this is great. I don't see it happening again. Like, yeah, obviously they're going to make new maps the next time they do it, but is it going to be the same things? Probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're actually going to get there finally. Maybe the end of year showdown will have some some stuff. But,
I mean, one of the biggest things too is that like you're talking about, you know, the dunk contest and stuff, the freedom of expression. I mean, other than the little text you have rolling in, there really isn't any from the players, right? And there is no subjective type of competition where judges decide or whatever and fans can vote or whatever. Like, imagine there was like, here's a bot, kill it in the coolest way. You have a pump shotgun and an AR. You know, MONGRAAL would roll in, do some crazy fucking piece control with edits, sick boom. Like, you know, you can have a subjective sniper competition between the best snipers in the game. That'd be whatever. That'd be cool. Like, I don't know. Like, imagine you set a chest of 20 weapons. It's like, hey, just make the fucking kill that thing in your way, and like fucking and do whatever, and then judges decide what happens. Like,
MONGRAAL gets a partner to hold the wall somewhere so they could phase through and then kill the bot.
Kaiser starts building with creative tools, makes a compass that points north, like, and then like takes the wall. Like, dude, it'd be so funny. It'd be so sick.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's good shit.
Yeah, that's the one problem as well, where it's like,
well, it doesn't all have to be the same.
No, but it's like there's nothing that's memorable. Like, you're not gonna come away from this in a year's time and be like, remember blah 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 did this and this, right? Whereas you can tell me about dunk contest from 2016. What happened? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's
but
nothing really that memorable.
is that their goal? Like is that their goal, or is it
No,
just
but
making like a
that might
little
not be their
entertaining
goal. But I'm
product?
saying for us as a community, do you know what I mean? Like for us as a
Yeah.
community, what we want out of it, stuff that's memorable, stuff that we can look back on and be like, oh, remember this? Like, you want that, of course.
I mean, there's a little bit of it. Like, if an all-star thing ever comes up, like, because obviously this and like the game aren't completely closely related. It's like, yo, like Tayson and fucking drop a map. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. That will definitely come up, I feel like. But at the same time, it's not the most prevalent
But
thing.
I'm not even talking about like from like a broadcast perspective of us, because even like we are obviously more inclined to maybe pull stuff that's happened in the past. But I'm saying like in like general, let's say you're having general community competitive discussion, like nobody's gonna whip out Tayson didn't drop a map in the whole of the high tier. Like no one's whipping that out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, if
I mean, like
everyone
just a
was
regular
watching the
Twitter Andy.
broadcast, they could be, because I feel like that's also an issue with like the way we watch this shit. If this was like exclusive to just the Fortnite stream and no one else had access to it and players couldn't stream, basically say if it was on LAN, like, you know, Tayson would be eating right now, no? And like that'd be memorable.
Weren't people watching the stream? Like everybody was watching the Fortnite stream.
Yeah,
this is actually the
everyone-
first time that
everyone
like
was watching the
pros were like literally watching the Fortnite
Yeah,
stream.
like just,
They were
that's
tweeting,
all there is to
interacting
watch,
with you
yeah.
guys, and well, I don't know if they were
Yeah.
interacting with you guys. Maybe they weren't tweeting at Shy Widger, but
Yeah, fall asleep here then, I guess. If, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna
no, but they were
go on my
like
grave real quick. 6 feet
they were
underneath, I'm just
subtweeting.
rest in
Most
peace,
of the
man.
time, it was subtweeting the broadcast. Like
Yeah.
there was what was it? Who was it? Nate got disqualified because he was watching the broadcast and he forgot to like look at that.
exactly.
Like no, everybody was watching. I feel like everybody was in tune with what was happening. Actually, for the first time,
I feel
in
like
a
it's
long
like
time.
what you said, the creativity aspect though. Like that's why it's just not as like memorable to me. Because even then, it's like if I'm gonna just keep on going on the NBA conversation, right? It's like with the NBA, you have that same problem with the 3-point contest. Like people don't talk about previous 3-point contests the way they do with dunk contests, right? Because there's just less creativity in the 3-point contest. Do you know what I mean? So it's like in general, that's just how it's gonna be. It doesn't. It's not like a massive problem. I'm just an observation, sort of, you know.
Oh, and all the fucking Prodigy Analytics quick stats were being
Those
posted
were
on
good.
Twitter.
Those were good.
They were so good.
Those were good.
It's
It's
hilarious
funny
because that
because
stuff
it's
is always there on the
That's what I was
broadcast. It's
thinking,
literally
literally.
always there.
It shows that these guys do not watch this shit, bro, because that stuff is always like, shout out to Prodigy because he's literally providing these kind of like statistics all the time, but they just never see it because they just never watch. But now they were forced to watch because it was the only good place to watch, and everyone's excited about it.
Yep, big facts. Speaking of watching, like this shit, Blast specifically is fantastic. You guys are leveled up somehow. Like all the talent on the show is leveled up. It just feels better. I'm like literally more engaged, simply because like the music, like I'm so happy. It's not just the same old generic World Cup music. There's like some hype stuff whenever there's a transition. Dude, the production is amazing. Plus the content that's being put out. I showed for a second like this little interview thing. It just feels so good. Every little transition, there's something. It feels like the best viewing experience that we've had, at least like out of game. We'll see how it goes when it gets to solo showdown, but I'm just enjoying the absolute shit out of it, like from start to finish. It's
tailor-made, because like a lot of the times, like if you just compare to things from before, everything's kind of, it's good, it's crisp, but it's also formulaic. Like everything kind of feels the same, and it's fine if it does, if everything's rolling smooth and well. But like firsthand with Blast, like if rolling in right now, like it's very adaptive as to if we're behind on time or ahead on time, or if a certain circumstance is happening here or there, everything's fresh. And in terms of the content too, it's like, you know, if you look at DreamHack, a lot of the times you have like repeat stuff happening every break. Like Blast has OG content every single day for the pre-roll, for the break, and like they just have an abundance of it going on, and they react to what's going on too. So like, you know, we had like a 15-minute pre-show prepped, realized we were 25 minutes behind, then do a 5-minute pre-show. And like it was the first time where we were keeping up with production, and it was the sickest thing ever. And like when you see everyone like actually challenged, you know, like that's where that's where like the audience can stay engaged even more so too. So it was really lit.
The
It was
speed
nice.
that the games are going is insane too. So like
Mhm.
comparatively to like, I guess it's just Fortnite in general, but
I mean, on the back end too, they've included a bunch of people as well who are like also in tune with the game. So like that entire aspect, like there's good backbone structure now, and I'm not sure if that's Blast specific entirely. But a lot of the admins you'd see like from the Prac side or from other places, like they're involved now. So when it comes to running games,
yeah,
we literally have the raw infrastructure.
yeah,
We have the raw command. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like so having that and having the respect there now, like a direct line, like that goes a long way. I want to see once again how it works in solos.
Yeah.
Right, because that's the big task, and that's the longest day we have too. So, it'll be really interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into like actually like who won and stuff, and I don't know. We can comment. I actually have like something interesting just to note overall about how the competitions are going so far. But right now, it's like we just finished EU's high tier challenge, and NA's is starting right now, where Sway is going to be competing and Booga is going to be competing and stuff like that. So that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if we're going to talk about it next week, but either way, let's talk about like what actually happened so far. This is the blueprint battle where Noahreyli beat Benji Fishy. My favorite event so like of the All-Stars so far was this one right here.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It was. I mean, Levin, you have the pure reactions to it because you were reacting to it the entire time after the fact too. Like,
yeah, it was just. I think that first. I think it helps that it was that first All-Star event, right? And it had all the new sort of components that you're referring to in terms of like just having the content, just the music, everything just culminated to make everything feel really special. And then you just had like really fun matchups. You had Benji with the, lower bracket run that is so like Benji Fishy. Do you know what I mean? Like the underdog coming through the lower bracket, like literally instantly being sent to the lower bracket from his first matchup, going through the whole lower bracket, rematching the person that sent him there, beating the person that sent him there, getting to the finals, but then losing to the person who is dubbed by everybody now like the best mechanical player in the world. It was just like everything was just so it wasn't scripted. Was this all scripted? Because like it was actually perfect, like the way it all just actually went out. I mean, like it feels like some WWE written shit, like the baby face versus the heel, and the babyface makes it to the WrestleMania, but he just like doesn't win in the end. Like Undertaker streak continues, like crazy shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
If this was scripted, then I don't know what the hell the next one was, because that shit was crazy. Where is it? Bullseye Bonanza.
Bullseye Bonanza was 100% scripted.
This was mega scripted, bro.
Scripted as hell.
Low key? No, I'm looking at these results, guy. I didn't think in the moment, yeah, but I'm looking at these results, yeah. This was scripted. Like, what are the chances Mongrel and Micho end up in the final against each other? Like, nah, it's funny because like people were talking about how like Mongrel specifically, because he's been like doing this like 100-hour stream thing. He's still live as we speak.
Yeah.
Like he was hard practicing the map. So like people were specifically saying that I can't be bothered to go up against Mongrel. Like he's literally just been practicing the map for like 6 hours on stream, like just doing nothing. So how am I supposed to beat him? And, yeah. And
well, Micho was doing exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why he had such a rough day in the play-ins. Because he was practicing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Nate had something in his bag to actually beat Mongrel with, and then we had to stick to the script. So man just wasn't called for the first game, so we sent him to fake Squeezy, gave Queasy the buff, and then after that had to be Andretta in the top 3 too. So it's how it rolls.
I'm actually surprised that Hen didn't do better. Like I don't know what happened, because Hen is like he self-proclaims like he's one of the best aimers. A lot of people put him up there as well. But and not that this is proof of anything whatsoever, but like he had kind of a stinker. I think lost to Micho, lost to Anas. Maybe he beat Vidil, which is kind of crazy. And Anas is up there as well.
Didn't he have a flop? Like he missed a target or something, and that actually fucked him, like against Anas? Hen?
Was,
Didn't have, like,
yeah,
he
he
was doing
did.
good. Yeah.
He did have that, but like I spoke to him, he hadn't really practiced the map, so he was just never good.
Oh,
Because at the end of the day, with this one as well, like you
Yeah.
have to have no matter how good of an aimer you are, you have to have practiced the map, and Ken hadn't practiced the map really, so he was always going to lose.
Yeah,
And,
it's not like
similar
everybody's
things with
going in
Adele as
fresh, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Do you think that's better if everyone's going in fresh?
No, yeah, maybe actually in a event like this, maybe, but not if I actually wanted to know who was best at the map.
Yeah.
Then after that, we'll come back to high tier because NA East happened afterwards, and in the blueprint battle, surprisingly to me, Edgy shit on everybody. And by I say Edgy, huh?
No, continue.
And I was gonna say, when I say everybody, I mean he shit on everybody except for Kanata, who he lost in the upper bracket final, but like, and then he just beat him twice, and he had close to the fastest time overall out of any region except for Brazil. He was speeding through that shit. After a certain time, he just started destroying.
Yeah, it's funny because like Edgy's one of them people where I actually think that with people who have been around as long as Edgy has, there's always this buff of like they're not on the same tier as some of the new mechanical gods that have risen through.
Yeah,
like they just like it's just a general thing that people just sort of think, especially where Edgy's actually not somebody who was ever like known or renowned for how mechanical he was because he just hadn't really done much content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like people know Edgy's a good player, but they just don't know why.
It's
like,
about watching.
Like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like everybody knows it's universal. Edgy is an amazing Fortnite player. Why is Edgy? What makes Edgy so good? He's a good player, isn't it? But like,
it's been a while since I've actually had anything to say when somebody would ask me that question. Because before it'd be like, you know, he created the Dimmadome, like back in World Cup days, he created the Dimmadome, like his name is Dimmadome, and now he's the cone. And everybody was at that point was a mechanical god, but now it's like that has been muddied for the people who you don't watch as much anymore.
Exactly. He's showing to people, like he showed to people that he genuinely is like still in that tier of like he's got some of the best mechanics in NA, if not the world. So that's really cool to see. I'm glad that he will start to get his flowers for that.
Stretch went out instantly.
I don't think Stretch can ever catch an L though, right? Because if he ever does go out, like the wave is just fuck it, you know, what is this anyways? I'm Stretch, I'm vibing. Who cares? I got the bag, whatever, blah blah blah.
And you know it's funny because he literally has an EU counterpart. That's literally CR as well. Like CR is the exact same shit.
That's true, except like, Stretch actually places.
CR was horrid, bro. What was he doing, man?
Oh,
that's not fair. CR this season, like they literally couldn't play finals because of Vinos.
That's true. Like, that's actually fucking.
And last season, he was one of the only people who you'd put in maybe that questionable category that actually made it to finals. So you got to, you know.
Yeah, give him his flowers. We got to give CR's flowers.
You gotta give it. Go give
him.
I was firing shots, bro.
No. Forget about that. Shayo, this is what I was talking about like last ep. You can't put a controller play in the blueprint battle. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Makes no sense at all.
Wait, did he go in it with the controller?
Either way.
Because
either way, like, why would you put him in it? Like, even if he is a controller player who's gonna plug in his mouse and keyboard, why do you want that guy in high tier? Like,
high tier is different.
Not high tier, sorry. Blueprint battle. Why?
Coop was dude. We had two. Was it two? We'll go over there now. Bullseye Bonanza for NAEs. There was Furious and Coop, bro.
Yeah, like come on.
At least enable aim assist for the boys, man. Like, you know,
they both switched to mouse and keyboard for this. Both of them.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Didn't Miro play in
Miro was in Blueprint battle, and he lost.
He was in Blueprint battle as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's like Felix was the person we were talking about being like, he's not mechanical. Felix shouldn't even be here. Do you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah, but Felix was actually fucking feasting.
yeah, you could tell you practiced. You could tell you had practiced a bit. You know what I mean? You could tell he was putting in some work for it. But nah, man, I'd love to see these be more specialized, especially if it was like, imagine if it's more specialized and it's like in the dream world where I want it to be like a LAN thing where you actually don't have a million like different, you know, ones, because it's not all different regions. So it's like all the best people, all the most specialized people from their regions all competing in this.
Yep, that'd be fucking insane. Like that would actually be the crazy experience. Like what I experienced at Creative World Cup, even though that shit was like no build up, no stakes, nobody knows what the hell's going on, no people that you know, like none of that stuff. It was still, to me, casting that shit with the crowd in the final moments, that it was still fucking insane. That's what I expect that would feel like as well.
Only thing I remember from Creative World Cup is like there was the prop hunt mode, and it was like, you know, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? Like you just had to like try sneak towards the center and they will shoot you. Am I remembering that the right thing?
That was the worst map.
That's the only
was
thing
really
I
nice.
remember.
It went down to like the last coin or something. Someone needed to make a jump and they didn't make it. Like
I can't remember.
But dude, the ending of that shit was lit, bro. It was so fucking lit. Yeah, maybe I'll watch it someday on stream or something like that and be like, this is what I casted at the World Cup, everybody.
Let's go.
Bullseye Bonanza. Macwood just fucking like alpha. He was just like talking trash the entire time. He's like, yeah, I plugged in the controller for the last segment of this. Yeah, you know, full capping. And then he's like, before the finals, he's like, I feel bad for whoever goes up in the finals because they might beat me once, but they're not going to beat me twice. DJen beats him once and then loses to him in the bracket reset. That's alpha energy.
He also did the Face Away Classic, you know? When you're losing, just change the format. Best of 3 it up.
I was laughing when he started lagging or whatever happened, when the targets disappeared for him on stream. Instantly, bro, everybody's thinking, yo, Mac would just fucking crash his PC on purpose so he can get a reset. And I was like, yes, Fortnite has made it. We are esport ready. We are finally getting fake tech pauses. But it turns out that Mac would like legit couldn't see his targets. They were not spawning for him or DJen, I believe. So it was legitimate. But other than that,
yeah,
Reverse 2K was kind of funny to watch. Like maybe not.
Now that I think about it, bro, Fortnite is way more WWE than I thought. Like Matt Hood is legit a heel, bro. Like if that happened to like Benji, nobody's thinking, oh, Benji just changed Benji did this on purpose to like try get an advantage. Like this game actually, like Reverse's whole YouTube video FNTASIA win thing, that was him turning heel from babyface. Like he is now full heel, and like that's his arc. And I think I like this. I like this version of Fortnite.
I do.
Where we do have bad guys. Do you know what I mean? Like I like Mac.
Where was the EU? There was somebody who was it? Ellocrat was talking shit to Anas or something. Hold on, let me pull up the tweet. That shit was so fucking funny.
Oh my god, that was so fucking hilarious.
That was so funny. Tweets and replies. Ah yes, here it is. Perfect. Fucking. He posts 4th in Bullseye Bonanza, 2,500, only about having played it the most. So he's like complaining about how it's literally just people who grinded it. Ellocrat says, you practice it for 3 days straight, man. Cringe. And then Anas, do I respond with blah, 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 or waiting until after solo finals and replying with a screenshot of you in 100th? Let's go. Like legitimate good trash talk. That's not just you're a shitter.
Like, why don't people just do anything creative like this instead of just saying ratio? You know what I mean? Like go to view real quick on that includes the word that you muted. Like
no, I'm not doing that. Okay, ratio. There
you go. Ratio. You know what I mean? Like you could literally just like it could be literally anything creative that has to do with trying to ratio the person, you know, like I don't know. I'm sounding like a boomer, but that's essentially what Anas, the energy was rolling in with. That just slaps. And like, just think about the amount of ratios you see on the timeline, the amount of muted words.
So boring. It is so boring. It is
Everyone could be an
absurd.
opportunity. Yeah.
I wanted to show something real quick, and I know I'm reading way too much into this, but can I pull these up and ask a question? I'm gonna look at the times overall, from each region, and ask a question here. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
Oh,
Here's the
no,
times.
already.
Here's the times for Bullseye Bonanza. And I'm gonna show the blueprint battle one afterwards. Okay. Oh shit. Something fucked up. Alright, we're chilling. So
Times are incorrect.
something is really fucking up right now. Hold up. We're chilling? Nah, my screens are flickering. Let me see if I can pause the recording.
Yo, we're back after the tech issues.
Fucking awful.
I asked Shayo to do a
Absolutely
re-intro.
awful.
As the...
Oh, God.
Okay, I was gonna ask a question here. So here's the this is the bullseye. It's happening again. It's happening again. My stream
We'll
PC
be
is
right
dying.
We'll be right back.
Okay, I fixed it. I fixed it 100%. So the question I was getting to was, here's the times. Brazil 210, fastest region by 5 seconds over Metro. Okay, and OCE. And then we go to the blueprint challenge. Brazil, 5 seconds or 2 seconds faster than West, 1 second faster than Edgy. And the entire time is always Brazil is faster, Brazil is faster, Brazil is faster, Brazil is faster. Are we sleeping on Brazil in terms of Fortnite competitive?
No.
Question.
We
Question.
just had an episode.
Question on this. Are these the fastest times? Or are these the grand finals times that won?
These are the grand finals times that won. However, this is the only graphic I could find with times like this. The reality is, you guys probably have access to Prodigy Analytics stats in the Discord and whatever. The entire time they're talking about how like the records were held by Brazil's and it was like way faster than anybody. The entire time, like the actual records.
Well, we just had an episode where we spoke about Brazil briefly, and in that episode, I specifically remember saying that Brazil has all the skill in the world, they just aren't tactically there. And I think for a while that's been apparent. And do you know what it is as well for me? That like it just all makes sense. It's like, remember even though I don't fully agree, or actually I do fully agree with this argument to some degree. You see how everyone always goes, EU has the most players, so they're just bound to have good players. Like just by numbers, like they are just gonna have a lot of good players because they just have the most players.
Yep.
Same shit for Brazil, man. They just have so many people in Brazil playing. You're bound to just have a load of talent there. And if you look at the history of esports and games and even just anything, man, Brazilians are just South Americans are just so talented. There's always talent there. There's always talent there. So not a surprise to me at all.
I disagree wholeheartedly, not on the sentiment entirely, but the variables used in this equation. I don't think that it's because that they have some insane talent better than most regions or a high precipice for one that they have the better scores. I just feel like they care slightly more. That's all it is.
What makes you say that?
Because like in terms of Brazil, aren't they like newer entirely to being in the limelight for competitive for Fortnite in general? Or like, you know,
No.
like compared to other regions, like don't they have less of an ego compared to EU, NA East with those pros involved?
No, because Brazil have their whole circuit. They've had their own broadcast.
They had their own broadcast for longer than we've been back. No, even longer than we've been back.
Yeah, so
but like in total, I just feel like these guys are more respectful to the craft and more like in tune with trying their hardest no matter what. Whereas on EU side, you're telling me Hen never played the map before. Like
maybe
that's what I'm trying to get at. Like
yeah,
I feel like EU and East, these guys just don't care. Maybe it's a cultural thing as much for the competition, but Brazil rolling in, they take everything invited like seriously. Like
yeah,
they don't have.
But even then, that's like
prize
what
pool
are
wise,
you
right? Like,
basing that off of though? Like what are you
so
basing
let me
that off
continue
of?
then. Let me continue then, because prize pool wise, like these guys don't have some crazy ass, you know, 600,000, 1.3 milli type beat, like crazy money poured into their regions. This is very, very significant for them. A lot of the guys invited in the tier 1 scene in EU and stuff, they've won money a lot, or they're high in terms of stature. They don't care as much for it. Whereas in Brazil, even if you're in tier 1, you could not be winning as much money compared to different regions. And then like at the same time, like even for a high tier, like Asia had the record, and the record set so far at I think literally 3 seconds faster than any other region right now. Like the smaller regions, I feel like will slap at this, specifically Asia, Brazil, OCE, Middle East, because they don't have as much of a chance as other regions for the big money all the time. So they take it hella seriously. I don't think there's a single person on those small regions who's not practicing the map. But I guarantee you in NA East and in EU, at least 3 players who are invited to this in every single mode don't even touch the map. They're going to show up, have a fun time, get the 8th place bag, and move on. That's their mindset, and that does not exist on the smaller regions.
Yeah. No. Those are both valid.
I think. No, continue.
Motherfucker, go ahead.
I personally do see that being true because, yes, you know, I think in general you will have smaller regions will often just take more opportunities, right? Like they are, you know, less privileged in whatever ways. But I feel like that only applies for like a small amount. Like you said, there's only going to be maybe a couple people from EU and NA who are like that. There are people in EU who practice, like you could see the people who had practiced the maps. Like even if you look at the other games, like things like CANT, like
practicing like the people, like it's like, you know, life on the line type beat. Like even the practicers.
No, but there are even in like hard. Bro, you actually look at Blueprint Battle, I think it is. Yeah, Blueprint Battle, and Dretta in the global leaderboards, because they have global leaderboards for it in creative, and Dretta's on the global leaderboards. Like there's people who are trying in these bigger regions as well. So I don't.
I know, but like, there's not even a hint of the no try in the smallers. Just the fact that it's even a possibility on EU NA East, like
you're saying there's a hint of the no. There's no hint of the no try. Where is this coming from? Like, is it just because they got fast times? You're just assuming they just tried harder. Why can't it just be like they are just faster? What,
because of the narrative I just gave you. Like that's my belief that because there's smaller regions that don't have.
So you think that purely the couple of seconds faster times is just purely just they care more.
Yes.
So they practice more.
Yes.
When there are people when there are people in the major regions who definitely do care as well and also practice a lot.
Yes.
No, that doesn't make any sense to me then.
Okay, so let me break it down in numbers, because there's, in my eyes, there's 10 out of 10 people trying from one region, or 8 out of 8 because of how many people are invited, but there's 7 or even not 7, like 5 or 4 out of 8 people trying as hard on EU. All 8 were trying.
You started off by saying a couple. Now you're saying half, man. Come on, stick with one.
Yeah, because I said 3
Don't start with a couple, then start with half.
Then, okay, I'm about to snap at your face, bro. I started.
But you keep changing the goalposts, bro.
Let me snap. I'm not changing the whole story. I'm fixing a mistake. I started the whole thing, if you're paying attention, my friend, at saying there's 3 or 4 people who aren't trying per region in each competition.
But that wouldn't be accurate.
So when I said 7 out of 8, I just realized that's 1, not 3. And so then I realized that 3 or 4 is half. So I said half to address you right there. Snap complete. Okay, we're chilling. Now, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like that was just me adjusting my mistake, not backtracking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You're chilling. Cool.
All right. I think you
don't care about this as much as I do, clearly. But
because I don't get me wrong. I do agree, because I do think that Brazil, Asia, OC people definitely care more in general, like a general like cultural thing. I think you can see that, right? Like, yes. I don't follow Brazil or OCE or Asia like their Twitter, so I can't see what people from there are saying. But I doubt there's as many, you know, I didn't really play the map, or do you know what I mean? Like, I doubt there is as many cases like that. At the same time, like, there are people from Europe and NA who would have been trying to get the faster times, and still, like, this is not full, you know, evidence to suggest Brazil is just mechanical. And that's not even me saying that they are better mechanically than EU and NA, but it just shows that they have people who are on that level and could be at that level, you know, with different circumstances. That's where I'm getting. I think that does show that.
Yeah.
So what are we arguing then?
Because it wasn't the OG point that, like,
no, but what are we arguing then?
I agree with that something 100%, but
I was just throwing out a bait question. I didn't expect you guys to go and each other's throats arguing the same thing anyways.
That's what I'm arguing. My point is that this shows that that Brazil do have people on that level. That's why, like, when I see them on pods the other day, I
agree with that.
Like,
I'm just not saying they're just because they're 100% completely the better region because their times are faster.
No, but
I just wanted to just put the fine print caveat of, like, you know, There's people not
Okay.
trying. Like,
Okay.
doing anything to be better.
Okay.
So I agree with you.
Okay.
Just adding the fine print.
Okay,
Fuck this baller guy, man. Like, what?
What did it was
You
an
know what,
obvious
yeah.
bait
But
question.
you know what? Yeah, shut the hell up,
Snap,
Barley
bro.
TW. While they're sitting there in the middle, like, oh, this is great. I'm
Because,
loving
bro,
this.
y'all
Keep
never go at
arguing,
each
like,
other. It's
shut
always
the
me
hell
going
up,
at
man.
what you or the other. Like, it's literally always that. You guys never go at each other. And I can't believe it's happened on such a mundane, boring topic as this.
Because, bro, we've sat through hours of just watching creative, man. Like, come on, man.
Okay, I have another
You're
bait
playing with
question. I have
damaged
another
goods,
bait
man.
question. Why is EU so fucking bad at editing? 20 seconds
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
Bro. And do you know what's mad? Like, because I didn't really watch much of the others blueprint battle. Like by NA, I was like half asleep. I was watching the NBA playoffs or whatever. Like I'm just doing other shit. But like, I genuinely want to watch some of these where they're super fast and like see, like compare, like just side by side, but to see like where is it that they cut off like a whole 20, 30 seconds. Because like watching O'Reilly, Shia, I'm sure you agree. Watching
Yeah,
O'Reilly,
he
looked
speed,
clean.
bro.
Like he looked like a speed demon. Like he looked so clean. That's like that's why I'm really impressed by like what I'm seeing in terms of the numbers, because I don't see when watching O'Reilly.
No,
Like I can't remember where they cutting the seconds off.
I watched Kazan West, and he was demonic compared to anything we saw in EU.
Really?
It literally looked like he was running, and the builds were editing for him to get out of the fucking way.
I just need to watch this whole thing. Like I need to find the clip.
That's the way I put it on the desk. Like, dude, it was fucked. Like the builds were literally just editing in front of him because I realized he's Super 3. Like
full Harry Pottering the fucking pencil and paper are just like floating in front of him, and he's just running along with his pickaxe.
Like, it must have been.
Man.
It
Like,
must have been.
It seemed like there was someone invisible who started before him, like a second ahead.
You want to know what's
and he was
crazy?
just running in the course.
Isn't the world record like 241 or something like that? Like 10 seconds faster than
it's
this?
even lower, which is nuts.
There's people who aren't competing in this who are just way faster. Like, what are you doing, bruv? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if
it's
you put
crazy.
and one in the NBA basketball dunk contest, then and one would win everything as well. So like,
No, well, that's true. Well, you know what? That is true. Like, there's people who would come in and like the NBA dunk contest isn't like it's fun, but it's not good. Like,
It's
you can watch a dunk
ass.
contest on YouTube that is like of like 3 people in their garden. That is a million times better. You know what I mean? So like, no, genuinely, like it is. Like there's a guy like so there's a guy called Derek Jones Jr. Right? He was like a fancy dunker, right? That was his thing. And like people, it was rumored that he was gonna get like a 10-day contract for a team, right? And people were so hyped. They were like giving a 10-day contract right before All-Stars so that we can see him in a dunk contest. Like, and like he came in and he was sick. He eventually actually got signed as well. I think he's still in the league. But it's like, yeah, like there's people from outside who are just way better than the people in the NBA at dunks. So it's like, it's cool to see that there's like a similar relationship there.
Yeah.
Where it's like way faster.
Yeah. We could talk about too, since we're on the topic of, you know, skill challenges and people competing for the best times. Speedrunning is a big thing. People have to speed run to the top 10, try to make it into All-Stars, into the solo competition, into the biggest thing we're looking at right now. And honestly, you know, I had a little hot topic argument about this region, this region, that, this person's failing here, this person's failing there. Yo, this entire system is failing me. It's failing me. Mentioned it last week, but All-Stars, it looks like a bright Monday morning to me. There are no stars in the sky. Like, you know what I mean? There's notable players here or there, but the system was meant to bring the people who are, you know, not in the top 10, who are super consistent, who are legendary, up to lights. They're not there, bro. It's either new up and comers, somewhat consistent players from some of the last seasons, not the big branded names, not the mans who are supposed to be there that aren't. They're so much lower if you want to scroll down and look at their names first before you go into the top 10. But essentially, like Scram, Robabs, Arabafo, Mitro somewhere down here too. Rifla's not in. Like, I'm not even sure about Percy Legendary, but Chinkin, like Wolfies is an 88th. Like, you know, if you go back to the top 10 now, what is the most all-star name you see here, 11-2K?
The most all-star name in the top 10 is
It sounds kind of hard.
Vino for Strokey.
Not Bad Sniper.
I'd say Vino and Strokey for like actual like how they're formed right now, but Bad
Well, like,
Sniper is like would get the invite.
Yeah. In terms of like in terms of the actual level of play, it's Vino. In terms of the name, it's Bad
Well, no,
Sniper.
sorry, it's Hycris. No, it'd be
Strokey's in
Hycris.
between.
Hycris is the Legend 27.
Oh yeah. Well, even then, like, or what in terms of like the actual name? In terms of the name, I still think it's Bad Sniper.
No. I'm talking about
the
like
name,
level.
Oh yeah.
No, in terms of
level
solo
is
level, it's
definitely
Vino.
Hycris, yeah.
I think it's Vino solo level.
What about current level? Like just current level of play right now. Overall, Hycris is the hottest name coming in. No.
Vino didn't
no,
get to play grind, or he didn't get to play
because of his account.
because of his. No,
Yeah.
it's because of.
No, it's Vino.
It's Vino. Okay, true.
Was
His
it? Oh, it
account.
was
It was
his
his
account.
account.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
it
like.
was account,
I was thinking it was the
Yeah, but, like,
Aqua
all the
CR, and I was
notoriety
like,
and,
no,
like,
it wasn't
the-
either one of those. Anyways,
Yeah,
the point is that there's no fucking all-stars in the top 10 who qualified. I was wrong. I will admit I was way fucking off. I think I overestimated or underestimated the amount of teams who already made it through FNCS quals. Like I was expecting like MONGRAAL, Mitro. Like I was expecting like a number one, those two, but just like people of those names. But I guess FNCS has been kind of kind to everybody over the last couple seasons, especially with all the consistency ads and stuff and auto calls and whatnot, and the format just in general.
Oh, but at the same time, it's like, you know, for some of these players, the one thing I just didn't want is like, yeah, you know, the only thing to say about this guy is that they're coming in from the play-ins in this exclusive all-star event. It's like that whole Butters situation. Was the guy's name Butters?
Butter from Secret Skirmish?
Yeah, from Secret Skirmish. It's not even that, I guess, similar to that type of situation, but I don't know.
Well, that was a more interesting story than them coming from an open qualifier, at least. I think this is more like a Carrot type of situation where he's like shitting on everybody in the open qualifiers for invitational last year, and then everybody's like, "Oh, it's the controller player who abuses the drum gun." Like, run away from him.
We're kind of rewarding like legends of a trios mode for like 90 of the players in the lobby, right? At least for the last 2 seasons. Why not just pick more legends from trios of old, from a season before or season after that, right? Because it seems so weird that for some people rolling into this, they're playing solos to get in. Everyone else played trios to get here.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm actually kind of surprised that they went for this, because given the fact that like they were hyping it up as that you qualify through FNCS and then there'll also be invitations. I was expecting like, you know, inviting Sever PK, Nick Merckx, Nick A30, people like that. But I think they just like either lazied out or they didn't get people who they wanted to, so they were just like, fuck that idea, and they just went with a like last minute fix. Like, here, we'll just run an open qualifier.
Yeah, I mean,
Would you
there's
guys
a lot
have
of
preferred
creative
if they
ways.
did? Would you guys have preferred if they did the play-ins as trios, so then it was the top 3 trios get in, and then they do one fan vote, and so like the one last solo player to make it 100 is by fan vote?
I just don't think there should be any plans at all. Like this, everyone who's in there, the top 90 played an FNCS to the grand finals. And these guys are playing
and
a
placed
cash cup.
high in that as well.
Yeah, like they made that lobby over a month and a half of grueling, stressful work, right? And like, it's not even about that in general, but like, I just don't get how this is related at all. That's just my thing.
Yeah, I think I would have been fine with them just playing 90 people and not doing anything.
Same. That's the thing though, because like you look at this event, it's the biggest event of the year, and it's like,
stop saying that. It fucking triggers me so hard. The biggest event of the year.
It's the biggest event of the year, and it's like, it's actually like the way you guys put it out. When you put that in perspective, like people actually have committed so much to be able to be here, right? And then it's like one weekend. Like a weekend, you play a solo tournament for the weekend and you're in. It's the equivalent of being top 15 in FNCS finals.
No, but like I was talking to a bunch of people on West about this. Like being here, being in this lobby was so goddamn important. Like this entire idea kept trios together for 5 months, for 6 months almost. I can say personally, I know for West, like there are people who would split up completely. I mean, take Skittles, DJ, and Agers. These guys only stayed together so they'd have consistency for All Stars. I'm pretty sure. And then the moment that the 2 seasons are done, Skittles gets dropped. Like, you know,
No.
this was hella important. So to the 90 people there, and then it's just like, oh yeah, guys, there's a few extra seats on the bus. I know you guys got the extra VIP tickets here in first class or whatever, but found these dudes on the street, yo. They're gonna be sitting right next to you. Have a good time.
To be fair though, like genuinely, it would be weird if there was a Fortnite tournament with no open track to get into it, other than third-party tournaments. Wouldn't it?
But if you set one up that literally is a culmination of 2 seasons of work, I don't think it's that weird if there isn't.
I agree with
Honestly.
that, but that is just Fortnite. Like,
But
is
the
there?
open track is there still?
is-
There is an open track.
There was an open track.
You
I-
play the FNCS.
Yeah, but it's like it is a separate thing. No, aren't they separate entities? Yes, sure.
Well,
there
that's the
was an
thing.
open track
Yeah.
through FNCS, but aren't they separate entities?
They are. That's the one thing I was going to say. Like, it is, because like this is a whole separate tournament, and they've invited those people.
And it's a whole new
based off
mode.
Yeah.
Like people genuinely were not participating in trios because they are whatever, and they don't have a trio, or they don't like to play trios, or whatever the reason is.
No,
And
but
now
if that's
now
the
they have
case,
a
then
way
like,
to play. Like, what is the return? Remember, what is the return for Epic to run this invitational? The return almost always for all their tournaments is the amount of people that log on to play in the open qualifier. Right?
yeah.
That is almost always the case.
Was there play-ins for Encore Cup last year after
Yes.
those trios?
Yes.
Yeah, we should have expected this. Should have expected
Oh
this one.
shit! Was Encore Cup no, Encore Cup was with trios, no? Wasn't it just
Yeah, it
like
was
a
with trios.
redo?
No, it
Yeah,
was,
okay.
well, it was the trios, but it was that, like, it was what this was. It was framed as this, so, like, you did well
Yeah.
in things, so you
Yeah,
played
yeah.
Encore Cup.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought, yeah, okay. Anyways, yeah. So it's even worse on NA East. I mean, Shark man.
I feel so bad because it's like you just have your name, you just have your card. It's even fucking worse. I look at this guy. How's this guy made it? Like,
No, I
true.
wasn't
It
talking
is
shit.
true.
I mean, I am slightly talking shit, but congrats to everybody. That's congrats, like you made it. But yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of rough. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
After talking to me, it's not even about the names that are making it in. For me, it's just the format, like setting differences, setting and theme differences.
Mhm.
I honestly don't even care if 10 All-Stars make it in from solos. That would still be weird because everyone had to play 2 FNCSs to get in. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that-
and
that's where I'm
do you
at.
know what helps? You know, helps, and it's funny that, like, because brother, you helped me to get to peace with this. It's like, this isn't all. It's just All-Star in name. There's nothing about this that, like, do you know what I mean? Same thing with like the way World Cup was just World Cup in name. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's called
Yeah.
the World Cup. Like, the format of it is not what you'd expect of a typical World Cup. It's just a massive event. You attach the World Cup name to it. This is All-Stars. Nothing like what an All-Stars is supposed to be, but it just has that All-Star name attached to it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
accept that, you can come to peace.
I you know, I made that argument or whatever, but the creative stuff is like literally cut and paste from an
Yeah,
all-star
no.
thing. So it's like,
Yeah, it is. But then at the same time, it's like the actual event that matters isn't. Do you know what I mean? The actual event that matters just straight up isn't. So,
Yep. I skipped ahead to the drops by maps. I don't know if you want to do
That's
this.
fine, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about, since we're on the topic of All-Stars, how things are looking now, and what we expect will happen towards the end of the 6 games. I think one of the coolest things I'm looking at right now is I get to watch a Fortnite tournament again, and it's just 6 games.
Are you
Granted,
excited
it
about
is
that?
solos. In solos, yes, I actually am.
Oh, because
prefer
it's
solos
solos,
to be
yeah.
6 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. If I had to watch 12 games with solos, I'd have a positive mindset throughout the entire time. But it's actually hype watching 6 games.
I am genuinely like
solos.
the most excited I've been for a solo, obviously for a solos tournament in a long time, and it's because we
Yeah.
haven't had any in a long time, and that's great. So, yeah, but still, 6 games is not it. Okay, cool.
Really?
No, it's not it. It's
Why
a
is this
it's a
6 games
battle
in?
royale, bro, with
Yeah,
more
it's two
RNG
skins.
than trios.
Yeah.
Like, of course, this is not
6
it.
games for the
Like,
biggest shit of the year.
No, but you keep the RNG in if it's show matchy. If it's just like, you know, I get it. It's all-star, but don't put the all-star name on it, blah, blah, blah. Take it away, have peace. I'm not part of that movement. I'm sorry. It's like if we're doing a match where you just have a bunch of the players and you're making them play, and yes, there's a prize pool attached and it's huge, whatever. If it's an all-star type event, if you want solos as a mode to be used in the game, it has to be used.
I'd be on board
like,
if there was
places
like
like this
actually
with
other
more-
changes to the format and tournament to make it like a fun thing where it's like, I don't really care who wins, but it should be fun.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not. It's just a regular tournament. It's like, oh, here's some money if you get
It's
the
not
most
even a
elims in
regular
a game.
tournament. It's not even a
True,
regular
because,
tournament.
like,
It's the
yeah.
biggest event of the year. Guys, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Forget this whole all-star thing. This is the biggest tournament of the entire year. It literally is.
Well, until the end
So,
of
like,
season solo showdown as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and based off of like I saw Reese talking, like I think Reese like tried to like calculate how much money he's been spending. I don't even know how you do that, but based off of that, like that event at the end of the year is gonna be like massive, or it should be massive in prize pool, like compared to every other event we've had this year. So who knows, right? But for now, at least, this is the biggest event of the year. Like,
Yes.
it
And-
shouldn't be 6
and
games,
thus-
especially for solos.
Thank you, Levin. And thus, 6 games is not it. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, what do we got on this map? Boys. Let me zoom in here. Are you guys reminded of anything when you see this? Are you guys reminded of anything? No? Okay. All right. You come on, man. Like he was down here all by himself on the outskirts of the map at a specific land that was the last land that we ever went to, and
Oh,
no,
Yeah,
okay. Okay. All right, cool.
yeah,
Listen, man.
okay.
You know.
Do you want a spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see Orchard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Zoom in on it.
Uh-huh.
That guy
Tayson,
does
who's
well.
that?
That guy.
That guy does well. And the reason why that guy does well is because he has so much loot to himself uncontested.
Mhm.
Spoiler for the rest of All Stars.
Oh,
For now.
also, he has
For
access
now.
to the Cray strat on ground, so like he's just gonna win.
Genuinely though, like my takes for who's just gonna win, I'm just looking at the people who have just like the best loot. I genuinely think that's
Janice,
just gonna be a
Tayson,
massive deal.
Savage, in my mind.
Yeah, that's literally who I'm looking at. I'm looking at Janice and Tayson and maybe Andalex. Andalex looks
Yeah,
like he might
Andalex.
be able
Oh
to
shit,
finesse
yes.
a lot. He looks like he might be able to finesse a lot, but that's really what I'm feeling for this. So, and I don't want it to be that way, but
Doesn't pizza also have a lot of fucking? I know it's pizza, but
Yeah, he has big side
Ooh,
mystery.
yeah, I don't know how that fight Missy's gonna play out though. I can
Yeah.
see that being very drop reliant in terms of who lands where. That's why I don't want to like. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't want to make any points on that yet.
damn, solos is actually rough, man. Like people committed to rainbow rentals. And that's all you have. Like that is so tough, bro. Like even just
Unlucky.
committing to like log jam. I mean, I guess he has treehouse as well. So hey, Quee's gonna be eating best spot on the map. You know what I'm saying? Respect, say heard. But it's kind of
Ooh, it's like a lot of those spots, right? And that's not me. Like a lot of these spots, like you can get loot that is good enough for you to play out a solo game. 100%.
Yes.
It's just like I'm looking at in terms of like consistency of that. Maybe you run into some issues, but that's how I'm looking at these people that have so much loot, and I'm like, you have no excuse to not do good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so,
Especially-
especially the caliber of player you already are.
Yeah. And with 6 games, I look a little bit more even to like the big high tier spots, like POIs, like Noahreyli has in Sweaty Sands, maybe Reason as well. But he's playing
That was
against
dirty
Vino.
looking.
This is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Dirty is just
dirty,
getting
literally
teamed
just
on.
like free
I
split.
like, you know, I would imagine, but that's what I'm saying. Even when I look at some of these, I'm trying to imagine like who I think would have agreements. Like I feel like Vino and Reason are just not gonna fight. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Oh,
some of them where I
isn't-
look at them, I'm like, they're just not gonna
However,
fight.
Reason when he first came on the radar of a lot of people during solo FNCS when he won the first week, or did he win the first week, or was that Benji? I don't remember. Anyways, he was fighting Holly Hedges like crazy, like fucking crazy. So maybe it's a similar thing. I do genuinely think that people will. I mean, The meta has evolved to the point where we have to be taking fights at some point.
Zoom in on Reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Reason's in that category for me of like Tayson and Janice of lots of loot.
Yeah,
I remember speaking to a player. I can't remember who it was, but I remember speaking to a player who's like in that sort of circle, and they sort of just said to me like Reason's gonna have, they said like Reason's gonna have a lot of loot. Like do you know what I mean? Like there's the conversations and all that. So like
isn't retail also just getting like 50-50 split, and like that shit is hella possible. Like trios can survive on that shit.
Yeah, but the
like,
players are there.
Ridiculous.
Kiku could do very well, but
even then, but I also sort of agree, child, because it's like you can split main and houses just like the OG split of just main and houses, and you're vibing for loot. Realistically,
you don't ever need to fight each other. You get tags on lazy, and like you're just chilling.
The thing you have to remember, right, with this, it's literally. It is who do you bet on to have 2.5 good games? That's it. That's literally it. Who, based off of what you're seeing on this map, can you bet on to have 2.5 good games
and survive decently the rest of them? It's not.
Yeah.
So
and that's all you really need to win.
The top 3 is going to be Janice.
Oh my god. Sorry. Oh my god.
This is one of the reasons I feel like Tayson is not getting Orchard free, and I don't think Risky is going to be free either.
This is a good call.
There's way too much going on at Corny. There's way too much going on around the map, and like if I just think about tournaments in general and Orchard and Risky specifically, they are the first move spots. Like in trios, bro, for fucking like Steamy and Pleasant.
Yeah.
And like I never have to say Corny, but I guess in this tournament, 100% Corny. Like if DKS is fucked off spawn, if he has a bad drop, Janice is now 50-50.
But to be fair, Corny this season is one of those spots that is more likely to be able to facilitate that amount of people. Like Corny has a lot of good loot,
really?
and it's quite spread out.
Yeah,
because it's got a bunker chest, right? Or it's got. It's really good. And I know it's really good.
The saddest drop on the map right now, Thomas HD.
Where's Thomas?
Like, he can't go dirty. He can't go dirty, and then he's caught between Seti, Kemi, and Teak.
That's pain.
Where's the Nos? Where's Flick, bro? Like he's the only person just all by himself.
Where's Flick?
No trio mates aside. Huh?
Yeah,
where's Flick?
Where are Flick and Nos?
Where are they? Like, I don't see them. I just see Thomas.
Where are they?
Anas is here with Roxo at
And Flick is in Craggy. So like Thomas is literally by himself against 2 trios.
I don't even think this is that, like, they're so far away anyways. We already know how this goes.
Because like that spot, that like new like spot where Thomas is, it's like I don't think that'll be a problem. If Seti's landing,
like
by,
fighting
like,
here is fine.
House, it's fine there, it's fine.
And
like
even landing there, is he?
Yeah, like Seti's gonna probably be landing towards like the lower bit. Like Thomas will be fine. Thomas will be fine there.
Wait, Thomas will actually do really well then if that's not 50-50 out spawn.
Yeah.
Thomas I think will be fine there. I don't know. I just I hate to sound like a broken record, but I just think the people who will have the best uncontested loot will just be the best.
Unless we have the EU Classic and we go to the bottom right real quick where Moaka is. Unless that's the first zone and the 6th zone. Unless that's the first zone, the 3rd zone, and the 6th zone, and it bounces back, then your drop doesn't fucking matter, bro. Nothing matters.
The past couple of solo tournaments that we've watched have not necessarily been about uncontested loot. It has been about uncontested loot, but also just about fighting skill and the ability to dive in a box on somebody who's really, really in a bad position.
Yeah, 100%. But I think not even necessarily all, but most of those people, in fact, no, all of those people can do that really well. Like, all of those people are known for being able to do that really well. So I think they're fine in that regard. I might need to find it, but it's like, isn't like where's Prodigy Analytics on Twitter? Isn't like Reason in the category of like the top 3 fastest like fighters like in finals formats? Like he finishes fights the top 3 fastest.
Yes.
So it's like
I remember that from back in FNTASia solos. He's just insane.
Yeah. and that still holds now, which is the crazy thing. Oh no, it's not reason. So it's Sweeze is the fastest. Sweeze is the fastest in the EU. Noahreyli second fastest. Wolfie's third, and then CR fourth. It's funny because those last two aren't even competing, but the Swedes and Noah two fastest when it comes to closing out fights in the finals.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be really, really, really fun. I'm getting the solo vibe right now where I'm just like, I have no clue what's about to happen.
and I'm fine with that. Do you know what I mean? Like even me, like I'm really fine with like the concept of not knowing. I'm really excited to see what goes down. You know, from a broadcast perspective, it's going to be rough because you're just going to miss so much stuff. Like just inherently, like I will just miss so much. And like after the tournament, you'll go back and you'll pick up on all these different things, which is exciting. But yeah, it'll be entertaining. It'll be entertaining for sure.
And it's also hard because I've like not been paying attention to any solo cash cup results at all. I haven't, and there have been no solo tournaments outside of third-party ones that generally don't mean much anyways. There's like no history to go off of either.
Like this isn't also like, you know, the most solo cash cup type lobby either, right? Like this is a very different.
No, but that genuinely tells you who's kind of like in form.
Yeah.
Not who's not in form, but it does tell you who's in form, which is always good. Because like I knew that Deciptos was going to start popping off because he was playing well in solo cash cups beforehand.
Yeah. I think the big thing is with EU right now is that like a lot of those rankings haven't changed, right? Like obviously you get the new people who come in who are rated a lot more, like someone like Vino's or someone who now is just really rated as a solo player. But for the most part, it's just all the typical candidates, right? Like the Taysons, the Savages, the Reasons, all the typical candidates are who you expect. Yeah, and as well. So I think that paired with the loot situations around the map is what is going to be, you know, sort of the key factor. But who knows how some of these places play out? Because even though we haven't had many solo performances, like the last couple, like wasn't there that tournament like Sweeze won right after like the last FNTS from season 5, and like he won a tournament and everyone was talking about like, oh man, like Sweeze is really the guy, right? Like, and that was like a set custom lobby type tournament. Obviously different scenarios, whatever, but like there's a lot of people who have had really good solo performances in moments, the likes of Kinzel, Wakey, you know, Teeks of the world, like people like that. So
exactly,
you know, it's gonna be.
I'm just
about who woke up.
I'm just hoping for some good trash talk, some no griefs, no teaming accusations, no nothing like that. Let's have a nice clean.
Just look at the fucking shark, man. Like.
No teaming accusations. That's a bit. How do you split this? No. The OBS needs to watch that off spawn because you can really like catch these guys out quick. Like if they, like, I love Diablo and Flecken, but like they could be caught out so fast because if they land that shot, like you can't split shot. They have to kill each other off spawn. There is no human way to split shark. Anybody knows that. Like anybody with half a brain knows that. So they have to kill each other. If they don't kill each other, it's serious. They've got to be banned. Like 100%. No, like I will actively like fight for that. Like they have to be banned if they don't kill each other. Spawn. There's no way to not split shot.
Shao, do you remember the fucking dream hack? It was NA. I think it was NA West or something like that. We were casting, and this early game off spawn. We like just tune in. First fight starts. This guy just like flies in. And lands late on this guy and just runs towards a weapon swinging his pickaxe. The guy just shoots him. You're like, wait a second.
What's going on here, bro?
Yeah.
It's always the edges of the map, man. These
I think they can get away with it. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, we're not in the limelight. No one's gonna hear. Like
it's not Lazy Lake,
man. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of Lazy Lake, let's bring up NA real quick. Let's see this one out real fast. Okay, there it is. Look at Lazy, bro. Oh my god, dude! It's actually like this is actually like season 3 of Peaky Blinders. Like it's actually insane. Is there? All right. What else is going down? What else
No,
is
no,
going
no,
down?
no,
the other
no,
way?
no, 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 no. I'm
It looks like a
possible. I'm
trio
positive.
jostile map. Look at Sweaty Sands, right? Okay. Now go to fucking Steamy Stacks. Sick. Go to the fucking that middle POI that's kind of like a desert, Bony Burbs. Wow, bro. Maybe Mega did show up today. Damn, go to Weeping Woods real quick. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Where's happening at?
We've done this. We've
Jackson,
done this.
Jack and
We've done
Slacks.
this. We did this the
I'm sorry.
episode
I'm
before
sorry.
last.
Yes, we have to be focusing on my bad. My bad. Who is winning in NA East? Who has the god spots, the biggest loot? Because for me, Macwood's looking really fucking good. In EU, Cracky just looks like a shit fest back and forth, but he literally gets half, if not more, of those chests.
Yeah.
I think the split at Lazy actually is not going to work out too well. I don't know. I just feel that, like, you know, it's kind of like going somewhere near Rainbow Rentals. Like,
They just
you'll make it
feed
off spawn.
launch pads to a specific person, and then that's all good. Like,
It's like everyone gets a chance.
Yeah.
And then the last game, they all fight for it. It's not even, they just follow that one person the whole time, too. You just imagine there's just like one launch pad, and there's like, you have like one camera on it and a time lapse, and you just see 5 people going at it in like 3 minutes. Oh my god.
Kanata looks really, really, really good to me. Obviously, we've already talked to. Oh, I actually looked at this last night and it was different. Kanata was like landing Zate Hill, and there was somebody at Risky, so somebody must have dipped. Or whatever. Clicks was by himself. Who Fishing or Zervo are new here. I was gonna say Clicks looked really good, but
pleasant, like one of the most splittable spots on the map.
I know.
Just give it to Clicks. Like, imagine, man.
I think the biggest difference on this map compared to EU is how just congested and contested the south side of the map is. Like, there's so many more people near Misty, near Caddy. Once again, retail literally gets less heat because of it. I don't know why people don't want to fight there, but maybe because of that, the way it's being split. But like, it's just insane the amount of people who are just hard 50-50ing off of it. Slurpee's not as big compared to EU, so maybe Jack and Slacks can end up splitting off. But then the same thing with, you know, how Corny Complex was from EU. It's like a bunch of these guys I see 50-50ing around Misty might end up migrating with Slurpee, might end up migrating somewhere else across the map. Someone might end up in retail who's going at Caddy. So
Shai, it's interesting you say that, right? Because I'm sort of thinking, you know, when we have top level trio competitions, you sort of have an understanding of how likely teams are to sort of switch things around in terms of drop spots. And a lot of the time it does feel a lot harder with a whole trio to just up and leave, and you don't know where you're getting yourself into. You know, what's that sort of percentage like in terms of with solos? Like, game to game, how different does this sort of map look? Like, in game 2, does the whole map just look like not completely different, but like significantly different? Like, how likely are people?
Why is this such a fucking broadcast co-caster question, bro? Like,
no, I mean, it's slightly interesting because, like, in general, if you look at the history of like how people have played on the map compared to other ones,
I'm dying, bro. He's answering straight up.
You flamed me about how on United I'm professional and all broadcasty, so I'm bringing it to the pod, innit? Like, answer me like we're casting, bro.
I'm not even joking. Like, in the past, you know, the amount of map changes we've had, like, and modes have kind of stayed the same where people end up playing together a lot. There's not that much snaking. It's tough to leave your spot, like Flick staying at Craggy and EU, right? But like now, especially in NA East, dude, I swear to God, people have switched high schools like 8 times in terms of where they're landing with certain trios. So people are more comfortable to hit that switch. They don't mind landing in certain spots. I feel like that'll happen. But at the same time, why isn't it already happening? Like, people are seeing this is going to happen. Why are they just griefing one game off spawn? Like, what's happening at Flush? Like, you know.
Well, that's not guaranteed. This is a couple days before. This map wasn't even filled up last night when I checked it, so they're still working on it. Who knows? These things could change. It is a fluid situation. So
yeah.
Bizzle has been going to the same high school for years, bro. And it has never worked for him. Never, ever, ever has this drop spot been good to him. Like, I feel like in chapter 2, since he's been here, I've just always been like,
And
always-
chapter 1. Well, chapter 1 it worked. This is the same spot from chapter 1. I'm letting you know positionally. That's where Dusty Docks is, right? Or Dirty Docks.
It's
Jesus.
slightly to the right, right? Because this is where
Dirty
this,
Docks. No,
remember,
Dusty Depot. There we
Dusty
go.
Depot was like put here, remember? And I don't know if it's still there in this season, but
Oh yeah, true.
anyways, like I've always like got hyped for Bizzle right before solos happened, and then actually I guess it did work for him at DreamHack Anaheim. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, that was when he had his rent. Remember after DreamHack Anaheim, everyone thought Bizzle was back.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought like he was gonna go back to being the best solo player in the world, and it was like, oh god, I really wish so. You know what? With Lance, who knows? You know what I mean?
When
Who
Lance
knows?
come back,
With
for sure.
Yeah. It sucks, man. Everything's different with Lance.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the realistic thing that's gonna happen on NA East. Pick your controller player who's winning.
No, I agree.
Where's Miro?
Over
See
here
that?
with
Miro's winning.
this boy.
Yep.
Miro's winning?
see that?
Miro's winning just because there's no mythic item for Furious to abuse.
Wait. Oh man, we don't get Coop. Come on. The one thing. Invite the last solo champ. The one thing, bro. The one thing. Is he
Doesn't
really
even
not
get to
here?
defend his title.
That's
think so, 'cause he
actually
hasn't-
so sad.
Where did he come in qualifiers in play-ins? Did he like get close in play-ins and just missed them out barely?
I didn't look, bro.
Because that's hella unfortunate, to say the least.
That's actually genuinely upsetting. The one thing that we had to do for a solo tournament was invite the last champion. Is this just circling through? Okay, I've looked through it like 4 times already.
No, bro, it doesn't matter, bro. That's FNCS. This is ALLSTARS. This is different.
This once again, it's like it's straight up just rewarding who does well in FNCS. It has nothing to do with solos for And if it did, the 10 spots would help buff that a little bit.
It's just the one piece of like history that we have going into it. That's why solos is such a difficult mode in general to watch, is because it's difficult to carry over the history. But anyways,
In any case.
anyways, this Aegis looks okay, but
I'm just thinking about the video, man. It's really bad.
I know what you're talking about. That shit's hilarious. Okay, all right, cool. I think I'm done
right.
here.
All right, cool. Yeah, when it comes to all that, I think the last thing I just want to talk about is MONGRAAL struggling to find teammates in his situation inside the business. I realize we have a few more eps for off season, so some of this other stuff we can, love it. I guess we need thumbnail stuff, so that's actually. Should we hit it now? Should we hit it now?
What?
Thumbnail pose.
Oh, I forgot to do that. Yeah. So, anyways.
Regardless, the situation with MONGRAAL right now, complete opposite rolling in general. Wow, who would have thought this could happen?
And fishy, man.
And Fish is farming. And Fish is farming the cloud. Let's go.
But yeah, for the audio listeners, MONGRAAL basically tweeted, looking for a trio is so hard. Just want to actually practice with the same people. And then there's a clip about it where like he basically is also wishing that some EU trios would like break up so like he had a chance to, have opportunities to play with better people. But these guys have found their groove, or at least are trying to get consistent. And my man's out of options, bro. Out of options.
Look, I told everybody. Holy shit, I was so right on this shit. I was so right. What was it? Like seven episodes ago when I really started taking FNTASIA seriously and I started posting clips and stuff. I posted a clip of us having a discussion about Snake Seasons dying. I was like, I think this is gonna be the last season for Snake Seasons. I think you guys like semi agreed with me, but also like didn't agree with me because it was Fortnite and everybody, it was 13-year-olds and they're always gonna. That's the reception I got on Twitter. Just like a bunch of people like, haha, Fortnite Snake Season will never die. Snake, it's like they're hanging on to like some mantra that's very important to them. They're like, Snake Season will never die. Like, And here we fucking are, boys. Here we are.
You didn't even reference the best one, right? Remember the one where you were just chilling in my chat and you said the exact same take in my chat, like how many months ago? Reddit absolutely lit you up.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that thread.
Lit up.
That shit was hilarious. Mongrel Bala TW.
Like you were getting absolutely lit up for that take, bro. And it was like it was just like one comment in my Twitch chat. Like I don't even know who screen grabbed that to put on Reddit. Like that's some like shit you expect in like the NBA or like in like really big sports leagues. Like a player said this in like a random comment section of like Instagram, like, and then it becomes like a whole story. Like that's the level it was. And I was like, damn, like Bala still got it like that, even with all the valid and shit. Like that's crazy. But even then, you were getting lit up. But now who's right? You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't find the thread, but no, I was getting shit on. Like everybody was like, Bala. I usually agree with Bala's comments, but he's so out of touch. He's so fucking out of touch these days.
Oh man.
And motherfuckers, I was so right. I wasn't talking about snake season back then. I was talking about specifically like Mongrel, and I didn't think I was. I didn't think I was right on that, but I guess I was, because I basically said that like Mongrel would struggle to find a trio in the future, that a top tier trio, right? And I mean, it's kind of been this case for a while now for some of these teams that are, or some of these players that are coming off of really good teams, like Benji Fishy, for example, had to team with, like, no offense to Amplifier Matzo, but they're not, like, they weren't the highest tier on everybody's list or anything like that. They were still fucking great. He snatched one of the best teams he could possibly have gotten. But it's been a pattern in the last couple of seasons where it's been harder and harder. Whenever there's a player who drops out, it's way harder. Unless you're Tayson, who's somehow finding, I mean, not somehow, because he's Tayson. But, and we're seeing this in NA East too. Like, and NA East was the one that I thought would never give up their snake seasons. Granted, there was just a pretty significant one in the last couple of days, but for the most part, it's teams sticking together. And I think, and what I said was next season will be the time when everybody starts sticking together. Not this season, but next season. And I think it's just come a little bit earlier in the year.
I don't think still that it'll ever go away. I think for the highest tier of pros, it'll be done. For the tier ones, it'll be done. The 1.5s and 2s, they will never learn to stick together.
Of course.
There'll always be bad apples. And I honestly think that majority of players will not want to snake anymore. The issue with snake season will be the ones out of 3s in the trios that are like tainting their own trio and tainting others as well. Like I've seen it behind the scenes in NA East. Like literally people prodding other people to break up with that trio. Not even for their own game. Like, sometimes even for memes, or because they have this belief system that splitting works better, right? Like but I hope you're right once again, because you were correct about this. I just hope you're absolutely correct down the line for everything, because it'd be better.
I don't think the end goal should be the destruction of anybody ever switching teams. No, I don't want that. I think that's boring as hell.
I'm just saying snaking in general, like the action of like the miscoms and the thievery. Like
you're talking about like dropping like one day before type of situations. Like that's just rude, and that's just uncalled. Like that's just bullshit.
Yes, and like the total shuffle that causes as well, because then someone else wants, like, people literally being snakes. Like it's fine if there's a big switch up, even if 10 teams end up switching their players. I don't consider that snaking per se, but it's like when that one person makes a change and someone else wants to agree on it, and now suddenly for the wrong reasons, everyone's switching up. That I consider snake seasoning. And I feel like the top players have kind of stopped that, unless it's absolutely necessary. You know, Zayt retires, now there's a vacuum.
And to be fair, the fucking Kanata thing is not snake season at all. Like we're calling it that because it's just a big mix-up, and it's including Stretch and Saf, who has been part of everything in the last. But this is like it happened right after the season, like after the season ended. It's like, okay, cool, they're making a change because they think they need it. That's different. But also, I think that sort of change stuff will start to slow down significantly.
Yeah,
it will never go away because that's just boring as hell. But slow down.
Yeah, it's just like the term snaking is just like become a Fortnite thing. Like you could just leave your teammates and like it'll just be referred to as like, oh, you snake. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, that's just how it's become.
You
But I think the big
show
thing
up to
for
a
me,
Discord call late, and they say you're snaking, bro. Like,
do you know what I mean? 100%. But I think the big thing for me that is a good sign and a step in the right direction is just like the aspect of like people keeping calls, right? Because you mentioned like the 1 out of the 3 shine. I think that's a big deal because even when you just have like 2 people who like stick together, if you're like somewhat not always cycling that third, but like you're somewhat cycling that third, and it's like you keep somewhat of your identity, like with like Andretta and Refsguard, you know, picking up Savage and you minus Scram pick up Savage. Like even that is just much better. Like I always used to hate when you see a team split up and it's like they're all fragmented, you know, into different places and different areas, and it's all messy. And you know, even if you're just having like, you know, certain calls stick together, but you're cycling in these different players, and you're keeping your identity, and your identity as a trio is very much understood. Like Queasy and Trulex, doesn't matter who their third is, you understand what they are as a trio. Who they are as a trio will remain the same. And even that is fine. Like whether they're cycling in that third or not, like that's fine.
Sometimes trios have to fall apart.
Yeah, of course.
Like they have to. I would love if we moved into the direction. I think we're moving in a good direction right now, where teams are incentivized to stay together. Not only just because that's good to be better down the line in the long run, but also because format wise, it is good to stay together because you qualify for things like the midseason showdown. I would love to move to a place where it wasn't so confusing to track, right? And obviously this would help if we actually had like legit reporters in the scene, if we had like an hltv.org, if we had any resources and stuff where news was posted. But basically right now, what happens in a trio switch is one player or whatever, the trio decides they want to break up or whatever, but you don't hear about that. All you hear about is when they announce it on Twitter or whatever. So there's never a period of time where you're like, holy shit, Kanata is looking for options for his trios. I mean, there are some players who are like that because it's very obvious. Like Benji Fishy, for example, right now is looking for a trio. Like Mongrel is looking for a trio. Like there's very obvious players that are doing that, but there's not a place where you can just go look at the free agents on the trio market.
Yeah, 100%. Benji's been playing with a good trio, by the way. Benji's been playing with a good
He's playing with Joe and Shadow?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, they're both like, how do I say this? Because it's going to sound bad when I say this, but like, in the grand scheme of things, like, they are both higher than him in like, do you know what I mean? Like, in the level of play of trios, you know what I mean? Like, because I think he's the most skilled of all of them, like individually probably.
The placements in trios are higher too, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. So like,
that's
they are
why
like a higher level than them. Yeah, like they are like a higher level than him, I think, in the context of trios. But I think from what I've heard is like he's been really sort of you know, receptive to them, and like he's really like, you know, it's not like it's not some ego shit where like if I told you like Mitro's playing with them, you could see a world where Mitro like might just be like, yeah, we're doing shit my way, or I don't want to do this. Like, why are we doing this? I mean, whereas like Benji always has just been more like that, even when he started playing with Maxwell and Amplify. And so you know, I'm excited about them. I don't know whether they're sticking. All I know is that they've been playing scrims with each other. I don't know if they still are, but yeah. So he looks like he is going to be able to find some decent options. But
yeah, I mean, and that's because he's putting his head down, and he's actually had trios results in the past, and he's putting his head down and just putting in the work and literally playing with people like Joe and Shadow. Like you would never you give out the example of Mitro, but you would never expect somebody like Mitro to go playing with them because he's looking for like Aqua and stuff like that. He's looking for people who he knows.
The bigger names.
Yeah. Joe and Shadow, they played with Stompy last season.
And they did really well
last season. Really, really, really well.
Really well. One of my favorite teams to watch, actually. They were really fun to watch.
So that'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting. I'm super interested to see what happens with Amplify and Matzo. But
isn't one of them like quitting? Like didn't Amplify say he's like, or Matzo says he's quitting or something?
Did they? I didn't see that.
After they split, like he was tweeting like I quit or some stuff like that. So
I thought it was like a break.
I'm wondering who they pick up.
Blaster and Nikoff, yeah, because Alpha quit, right?
Yeah.
Well, Alpha's retired. Well, he's retired, right? You said he's no longer competing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gotta hope they stay as a core.
Yeah. Okay. That topic is done, I think.
There's no low boom's back.
Who?
Do you guys know that?
Oh, Boom is back,
Low
bro.
Boom.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Boom
and
Cup
you know,
number 7.
do you know Low Boom like actually had like
Oh,
a placement
Low
last
Boom.
season. Yeah,
Really?
like, he actually had like a placement last season, but like it was like one of those things where like nobody would have noticed, right? But like he actually had a placement last season, and he's like grinding.
What is with like these OGs coming back, like the Mentos last season, like
they're getting ready for World Cup, bro. World Cup's on the horizon.
Oh.
Reddit is down,
Right.
so I couldn't get any of these
No,
threads.
I wanted to save the other topics for.
Okay, you want to
Like
save
over.
Noahreyli, or Noahreyli's gonna be old news by the time we
Wait,
get there?
what are the chances Reddit is down? Sorry.
Yeah, Reddit's down.
Like, what?
At least I
Wait,
had the
what?
one thread up.
Oh, yeah, fortunately.
So now I wanna. Yeah.
If we don't talk about Noahreyli, we're not talking about Noahreyli next episode.
Let's talk about Noahreyli then. What's the what's the situation, Bala? Because you're invested in this more so.
I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like last time we just kind of reacted to it more so than talked about it. And
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we kind of put out our generic takes in the first, or anyways, but like, I just don't know how this situation unfolds in the first place. And I think a little bit more clarity is deserved for the situation, and a little bit more just because this is really like a big mess up.
You know the assumed facts, yes?
No.
It was the whole, and Levin can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but wasn't it that someone on a Mars stream had his name and was like doing some sus stuff or was cheating or whatever, and then it wasn't actually him, it was like an impersonation.
Okay,
and then
that's what I postulated, but that was just me spitting random bullshit out. Is that where you heard it from, or you said it on Mars stream?
That's what I heard community wise, unless that's I'm getting it from you, but I specifically heard Amar's stream. So
on Amar's stream. Okay.
Yeah. So
Got it.
Someone was doing something with Noahreyli's name on Amar's stream. Suddenly Noahreyli's banned within the same time span.
Mm-hmm.
Then Noahreyli's unbanned very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's so crazy. That they're like that implies they're like, okay, that implies they're manually banning people who are obviously cheating off of kill feeds on big streamers streams, right?
Well,
I mean,
we always knew they were manually banning from like the people who like stream them hacking. It's like,
well, okay, that's slightly different, but also like deserved of a manual ban, right? Like,
yeah, but it's like I could see a world where like a massive streamer, you don't want someone if it's flagged that someone in Amar's game's cheating, you're gonna go and manually ban that person, right? Like you don't want that. Like you don't want that in front of that many eyes.
God,
And
like
yeah, but it's not
banned faster than like people who've been cheating in DreamHack. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that could just mean that they're increasing their speeds to react to stuff like that.
True.
My point is that if they flagged a specific person and they got proof that they were cheating or what, then how did it become how did they get the wrong person?
That's the one thing that I don't. Obviously, I don't. Even now, I didn't actually know. You said like Levin, correct me if I'm wrong. Still don't know the situation, if I'm being honest. But
yeah. I mean,
like,
in general, isn't this also like inside a month where lots of false bans are coming out anyways? Like All-Star Invitational, literally last week, a few days before the Noahreyli thing, like there's
people
getting banned.
If it's the case, what you're saying, if that's what the community's like decided that's what happens, then there's no correlation. There should be no correlation between the two, right?
Maybe possibly, but at the same time, maybe there's something incorrect happening in the back end with manual type bans. Like maybe someone's sifting through reports and watching the evidence or whatnot. I don't know how it works in the back end, and they're coming to wrong conclusions or making mistakes because, you know, I'm not sure what's happening with Rocane in the background, what's happening with some people on West in the background and in EU, but there's also small cases of people being wrongfully banned there who have nothing to do with their bans whatsoever. And even with Noahreyli, like his account had nothing to do with the ban whatsoever. maybe there was like, you know, someone impersonating Rocane, and it wasn't maybe on a Mars stream, but there was proof there was report on a different account or whatever, you know. Now I'm like in fantasy Alice in Wonderland in land, but
yeah, I mean, that's kind of
it's
where
a
I was going with it. It
possibility
was like how frequent is like false bans and stuff like.
yeah, because think about the last year. Like all the false bans I'm kind of thinking of have happened in the last month. Like whether it is even if these aren't connected, like the majority of them have been the All-Stars, which was so many people on every single region, and then this Noahreyli one most recently. And yes, this is the most isolated false ban we've seen in a very, very long time. But
imagine he wasn't on
changed.
stream, like.
Yeah.
I guess nobody would have known, and it probably could have gotten resolved like behind the scenes. But like, if somebody got a whiff of the fact that he was banned and he didn't get the chance to like react and like get people like, oh my god, because if he was banned for more than like 4 hours, it'd be like forever. His Twitter feed would be followed by people who were just like, "You're a cheater, soft aimer." Yeah.
Well, but yeah. But I guess he would have still been able to have that like you know, the whole thank you stuff. Like I'm sure they still would have done that. So that he would have had that as like ammunition. There's no Epic have literally come out and said this is a mistake. Blah, blah, blah. I still get what you're saying. It's like 2K V-Bucks. I'll take
2K V-Bucks, get banned live on stream for the game that you've been playing professionally for the last 3 years. Yeah, would you take that?
That's professional. Like for 11, it'd be 2K V-Bucks, or I guess $20, which you're banned on Twitch for 4 hours. And FNCS is tomorrow.
Oof.
Like, would you take that 11? Like you get banned on Twitch. FNCS is literally in 28 hours. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what happened to the man, right? Maybe it was like 2 days away, but imagine that.
What's in the item shop?
No way.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Well, there was one more point I wanted to make about this, but I've forgotten it. And this topic is kind of dry, I guess, in general. I
feel like with all the takes out.
I'm kind of like scared, but also like excited about. I don't know, because it proves that they're trying to respond faster. But I'm also terrified that people are getting false banned, and also that they're genuinely investigating. I don't know, man. Never mind. It's all just speculation and bullshit. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it out the way.
At 21 Savage though, episode 21. That's a wrap. If you've made it this far in the comments, I want you to drop, where would you like to have World Cup next? We're really digging deep.
London or Paris? London or Paris?
Yeah, London or Paris. London or
Canada. Toronto, Canada. In the Air Canada Center. Wow.
Look, Canada needs more esports lands. That's for sure. That's for absolute sure. But not the Fortnite World Cup. Sorry, brother.
Okay, man.
If they let me sit on top of the CN Tower like Drake, I'll do it.
Oh, look at this guy, man. Oh, you should say London. Oh, Big Ben reference. Oh, if I get to set the clock on the Big Ben.
Big
Ben.
Oh, the clock. He said something. If I get to parachute into the English Channel like who was it, Daniel Craig, or was it the Queen? I don't fucking know. In one of the like New Year's celebrations, that's what I want to do.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll see you on the next one. Episode over and out.